We're back at Lakeside Lanes in Manchester, New Hampshire for some more action from Ladies Internationals from last Sunday. This is a match play team event, as you remember from last week, and we have once again 2 matches going on right here on lanes 3 and 4. The team of Travel Anywhere, which is captained by Christy Lipke, is taking on Maniacs, who we saw earlier. And on lanes 5 and 6, the team of MD shooters, they're the main bowlers in pink shirts. They're taking on Hammer Time, who we saw in the previous match. So right now, the leadoff bowlers are Amy Doobie, Donna Pope, Brooke Anton, and Stephanie Ayotte. And there's a great shot by Brooke Anton on lane 5 to begin with a spare. We'll give you another look at that in just a moment. Brooke Anton, I'm sure, is familiar to you because she's one of the top bowlers in the state of Maine and has appeared in the Women's Pro Series playoffs video. And there's that shot. Nice piece of wood there, but she hit it perfectly. Begins with a spare, and just a 4 fill. A little disappointing, but she's still off to a good start. And there is a strike by Donna Pope in the she and Amy Doobie are in the 3rd box of their match. They got started first. And Donna Pope really has the strike ball working today. From the other match where she had a double, and she's really been throwing a lively ball. Amy Doobie put a spare up on the board. And Donna almost throws another double strike. This is, she drops 8, leaving a 3-5. 2-pinner. See if she can make it. Yes, that's 2 marks in a row. Amy also looking at a 2-pinner. She has the 5 and 8 with a piece of wood well out front. And she's able to push it back for the mark. So both Amy Doobie and Donna Pope have marks in their 3rd and 4th boxes. Meanwhile, Brooke Anton with a spare in the 3rd. And Donna Pope misses the head pin but gets 7. Pretty good break there. Amy Doobie also with 7. Amy has an average of 114, high single of 198, and her high triple is 480, which is the world record on the women's side for a high triple. And there is another spare by Amy Doobie. That's 3 spares in a row. She's got a 64 half with the ball working. And Donna Pope has a 65 half. Stephanie Ayotte and Brooke Anton are finishing up their 4th box. And on lanes 3 and 4, Kim Pelletier and Stacy Gelati will take over. Stephanie Ayotte with a 9 drop, and Brooke Anton also with 9. Lanes 5 and 6. Stephanie has the 10 pin with a piece of wood that's well out front. She's going to have to hit it pretty solid and push it back, and she does. That's a spare in the 5th. Stephanie has 40 with plus a spare fill, and Brooke Anton also with a spare, and Stacy Gelati. So Kim Pelletier got hung there. She was the only one not to record a spare, although she gave it a good try on the 4 horsemen. And she'll take a 10. Kim has an average of 107, high single of 181 and a high 3 of 421. She bowls out of Lakeside Lanes right here, and also Academy Lanes in Haverhill, Massachusetts. Forgot to mention that Amy Doobie bowls out of Park Place in Wyndham, and also Leo's Super Bowl in Amesbury. Now on lanes 5 and 6, Casey LaPierre and Diane Katz have taken the stage. Stacy Gelati, meanwhile, with another spare in the second frame.
Ladies, your 11th team tournament winner just started 138.
Diane Katz misses the head pin, but gets a nice break and ends up with the 1 and 10. Casey LaPierre also with an 8 drop. She has a 2-pinner, the 4 and 8. A couple pieces of wood that could be rather tricky. And she pushes it straight back into the 4-8 spare in the second. Stacy Gelati with a 4 drop on the spare. The team of Travel Anywhere, Christy Lipke's team, was undefeated for most of this tournament until they lost a tight match to Park Place Lanes. That we showed you the beginning of that match earlier in the week, and it actually, we don't have video of the end, but it actually went down to the wire, went down to the last ball, and Joanne Rosano threw a strike on the last ball in the 10th to win that match and hand Travel Anywhere their first loss of the tournament. Casey LaPierre with a 5 fill on that spare that she had in the third. There you can see Mark Smith, who is in attendance with Kim Kangas, watching with great interest. Mark is also one of the top bowlers in Maine, as I'm sure you know. And I should mention that Mark and Kim are going to be taking over the management over at Good Time Lanes in Lisbon, Maine, later this year. So they're both pretty involved with the bowling business when they're not actually on the lanes. Wow, Kim Pelletier can't seem to catch a break. She had another 4 horsemen there, 1, 3, 6, 10. Just hit it almost perfectly, but the 10 pin wouldn't go. Sometimes it's hard to carry that corner pin, and it seems to differ a lot from one house to another. A few years ago I was talking with Ed Zernicke, and he mentioned that he had taken some measurements on a number of different houses, and he found that there was a considerable variation in the height between the lane and the pin deck. And when the pin deck is lower, when it's much lower, say half an inch lower than the lane, then the ball is a lot less likely to carry the corner pin. Of course, that it can still be within the specs because there is some variation allowed in the rules. So every house does not have to have exactly the same dimensions. There's a certain tolerance there. Over on lanes 3 and 4, Cheryl DeVole is bowling for Travel Anywhere, and Brenda Magdalene for Mass Maniacs. Cheryl is another Lakeside Lanes home gamer, and she is carrying an average of 110. She has a high single of 186. And there is a strike by Brenda Magdalene in the second box. Pretty high 1-2 pocket hit. On lanes 5 and 6, Renee Lowell and Jackie Paul have come up for MD shooters and hammer time, respectively. Jackie with an 8 drop, leaving a 7-10. A couple of pieces of wood that could be usable. And that is a great shot. That was perfect. We'll give you a look at that in just a moment. Spare by Jackie Paul converting the 7-10. And Renee Lowell also matches her with a spare. And a great bid by Brenda Magdalene on lane 4 with that 5 drop, 1, 2, 4, 7, 10. And I'm not sure that that piece of wood in front of the 10 didn't rob her of the spare, because that head pin looked like it was going right into the 10 pin. And here's a look at that 7-10 conversion. Perfectly done. Absolutely perfect. The wood goes over and takes the 7. The ball comes off the wall and covers the 10. That was a great shot. And just a 3 fill by Jackie. It's a little disappointing after making a great shot like that, but nonetheless it is her second spare in 3 boxes, and she has 36 through the 3rd. 5 fill for Renee Lowell. She has 35 through 3. Caleri with some wood. And it almost goes. A little bit too light on the head pin, I think, to carry that 2 pin. The head pin went around the 2. Cheryl DeVole, meanwhile, had a strike in the 3rd. Put 9 on it, and 10 in the 4th box. Cheryl has 46 through the 4th. Brenda Magdalene 47. And Jackie Paul with another split on lane 6. This time she has 4, 7, and 10. And again with some wood. And is that going to go? It does go. Great shot there once again. And again, Renee Lowell matches her. Jackie Paul with that 4, 7, 10 conversion. She hit high on the cap. Ball took out the 4, the wood went over and got the 10, and then the wood came all the way over and got the 7. I think we will have a replay of that in just a moment. Yeah, here it is again. Watch how this wood gets the 10, and then I think that's actually the 10 pin that rolls across and covers the 7. So next up, Kim Kangas on lane 5 and Laura Paul on lane 6. And on lanes 3 and 4, Marion Johnson and Maria DiFrancesco. Kim Kangas with a nice bid on that 1, 3, 4, 6, 7 5-pin combination. Head pin just went over and around the 4-7, though it didn't touch anything. He's got a 10. Laura Paul with a nice, well, and it does go. She had a nice pocket hit, and it looked like she was going to be left with a 4-7-9 split. But the 9-pin went. Marion Johnson with the spare to begin. Before travel anywhere. And Laura Paul hits the object pin on that 4-7, but punches the 4. So she'll be open in a second. She'll have a 10. Kim Kangas with a nice shot for a 10 in the second box. Marion Johnson has some pretty impressive numbers, an average of 117, high single 195, high 3 of 445, and a high 5 of 715. She bowls out of Leo Super Bowl in Amesbury. And I'm sure you know Marion pretty well if you follow the women's tournament circuit. She's also appeared in a few of the video segments that we've had up from time to time. And Kim Kangas with another nice try. Not quite able to get the spare. She covers the 6-pin for a 10 box. With a 5, or actually a 6 drop, leaving the Caleri minus the 10 pin. 1, 3, 6, 8. Difficult spare. But not impossible, as you can see. That goes, and I think that piece of wood might have been what did it for her. Came off the wall and came back to take out the 8. Kim Kangas also with a spare, covering that 7-8. Utilizing the wood. Both bowlers with spares in the third. Laura Paul with a 7 drop. Kim Kangas with an 8 fill. Despite both bowlers missing the head pin, they got pretty good results out of that. Kim has 38 through 3 and Laura has 35. We both missed the head pin again, but are left with just the head pin. And a great try by Marion Johnson over on lane 3. She had that 1, 2, 7, 10. Head pin went up and over and around the 10 pin. She'll take a 10. Marion has 42 after 4, and Maria Di Francesco struggling a little bit this half with 33 after 4. And that was a nice ball right there. That was, and there's a strike by Maria Di Francesco. Over on lanes 5 and 6, Amanda Carroll and Faye Sawyer have taken the stage. And Amanda threw a nice first ball in the 1-3 pocket, but got nothing to show for it. Just left with that 4, 5, 7, 8, 9. Really not rewarded for a good ball. And she'll start with a 7 box. Faye Sawyer with an 8. And Marion Johnson with an 8. She has 50 through 5. Maria DiFrancesco with 43. And here's another 43 plus the strike fill. And here is the strike again. Kind of a light mixer on the 1-2 pocket side. 7 and 10 are the last 2 pins to go. Good way to sit for Maria DiFrancesco. After kind of struggling, she'll have a chance to make it up on the fill. Solid pocket hit by Faye Sawyer. And also by Amanda Carroll. They both have spare leaves. Faye has the 4-8 and Amanda with just the 4-pin. Now on lanes 3 and 4, Christy Lipke and Beth Powers. The anchor bowlers for Travel Anywhere and Mass Maniacs have taken position. And spares by both Amanda Carroll and Faye Sawyer. Beth Powers begins with a spare. And Christy doesn't quite get that 7. So Christy got hung there by the other 3 bowlers, just as happened to her teammate a few minutes ago. I don't think it's going to bother her too much. Especially since her father-in-law is the boss here, so she can probably get a break on Amanda Carroll with a 4 fill, Faye Sawyer with a 7, and another spare. Beth Powers filled that spare with 6, but she'll be open in the second. And Christy Lipke clips that 4-pin, never a doubt. She had it all the way. Spare in the second for Christy. Started to mention that Christy's father-in-law, Tim Lipke, is the proprietor here at Lakeside Lanes. And there is a strike by Faye Sawyer in the 4th. Tim is familiar, and I've mentioned this before. Those of us of a certain age remember Tim from his phenomenal run that he had on the Channel 5 weekly Candlepin Bowling show. I believe that was in 1984 that Tim won several shows in a row and the championship show and won a whole wheelbarrow full of money that year. Christy Lipke with another spare. Tim had a very impressive career on the pro circuit. Faye Sawyer with a 9 drop and a chance for her 4th consecutive mark. Not quite that. Not going to do it. That ball slipped off the right side. Nonetheless, it's a 9 fill on the strike, and she has 64 through the 4th. And she's really keeping her team in the game, as you will see when we'll give you the team scores in just a moment when they're finished with their half. Beth Powers with a tough break there, 4-box half Worcester, and it looked like she was going to get an out there, but the head pin, she just took out the 1-9. Frustrating shot there. So, meanwhile, Stephanie Ayotte and Brooke Anton have actually, they're a box ahead, so they've started their second half. With this segment, we're just going to take it up to the end of the first half with Christy Lipke and Beth Powers finishing up their first half, and then we will bring you up to date on where the matches stand in terms of scores. Beth Powers with a spare. That's a nice bounce back after that 4-box. Christy Lipke with an 8. Christy has 62 through 5. Beth with 49 plus. So let's take a look at where these matches stand. They're both pretty close. As you can see, Travel Anywhere has just a 3-pin lead over Mass Maniacs, and MD's shooters with a 12-pin lead over Hammer Time. Just about halfway, a little more than halfway through. We will be back with the remainder of these matches later in the weekend.